speeches, but the first speaker, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Malcom Turnbull. Thank you.
Well, thank you, David. This is a great community rally. We've got representatives from the New South Wales Greens, representatives from the State Liberal Party. Bruce Notley-Smith, who's our Liberal candidate for Coogee, is here, and obviously I'm a member of the Federal Parliament and a Liberal, and we have Liberal councillors here as well as Greens councillors. So we've got, we don't seem to have anyone from the Labor Party here, but hopefully there are a few Labor supporters who, like those featured in the Herald this morning, will talk a bit of sense to Christina Keneally. Look, can I just say that it is a bitter irony that in this year, when we're celebrating the bicentenary of Macquarie, and we have the wonderful light show featuring Macquarie's vision down the Queen Square end of Macquarie Street, down the other end, this wretched Labor state government is planning to dismember part of Macquarie's legacy, probably the most important part of his legacy, in the sense that he dedicated 1,000 acres, all of this land and a great deal more, I might say, that has been chipped off over the years, as a domain for the use of the public. These are public lands designed to be kept as open lands for all the public to enjoy. Now, these lands have always been under threat. Some of us are old enough to remember back in 1972 when Patrick White was stirred out of his seclusion from his study to protest against a plan to build a sporting stadium in Centennial Park. These parks have always had to be defended, and there's always people wanting to chip away at them. Now, the Centennial Park Trust, which was set up by Neville Wran when he was Premier, and Neville, of course, has always been very committed to Centennial Park as a regular walker there, and of course you've seen his featured in the Herald this morning. It was set up to provide a degree of independence and security for these Centennial Parklands, and John Walker, the chairman of the Trust, is here and will be speaking to you in a moment. Now, we need to support the Centennial Park Trust. We need to support the integrity of these parklands. The inner city of Sydney is becoming more and more populated. There are more people moving back into the city. All of the area over in that direction, including, improbably enough, Christina Keneally's electorate, is being filled with new apartments, new townhouses, more people moving in, all of whom want to have access to these parks. And it is remarkable, surely, that the Premier is proposing to threaten the green lungs of the inner city of Sydney, which her own constituents seek and are seeking in greater numbers as more people move into those areas. Now, these are very special places for Sydney, indeed for Australia. They are special from a historical point of view. Our federation was inaugurated in Centennial Park, the Commonwealth of Australia. They are unique in many environmental ways, and I'll just mention one because we've been thinking a lot about it over the last few weeks with all of the rain. We are standing on top of a gigantic sandy aquifer which runs from the ridge that Oxford Street runs along the top of, all the way down to Botany Bay. The sands which we are standing on are about 30% water. So if you take a cubic metre of the saturated sands, this is my little dog Melly coming up to be part of the scene, there's 300 litres of water in it. So it's a massive resource. It's an extraordinary natural phenomenon. You know, the water, you would see the water that comes into Centennial Park, the stormwater from Bondi Junction, you know, rushes down into the through the big stormwater channel over near the bottom of Queen's Park there. It's about as filthy as you can get. By the time you get down to the Kensington Gate, to the Kensington Ponds, where the University of New South Wales has a bore, that water is cleaner than Sydney tap water. Other than it, so just in that period, that travelling slowly through the sands, nature has cleaned it, which of course is why these wetlands here were Sydney's original water supply. So there are some very remarkable environmental features to these parklands, very remarkable historical features, but most importantly, they are the green lungs of Sydney. They have to be defended. They will be defended. The Labor government was planning to whip this land grab through Cabinet without any public consultation, without any discussion with the Centennial Parklands Trust. We're here to stop it. Thank you for your support. We have to be relentless and determined, and just as we did nearly 40 years ago, once again, we've got to band together as a community to defend Centennial Parklands. Thank you very much.